Kids graduate high school without ever having read a single book all the time. And often these students have all A's and B's when they graduate.
The kids are like, I knew that the pandemic and ChatGPT was making us dumber. I didn't realize it was this bad.
People always act really shocked when I say I have 17 and 18-year-old ninth graders, but it's not that shocking to me anymore. I get like 3 of them a year.
Alright, so today we're going to be taking a look at what the current crop of students are doing in school, because it really seems like they're not learning anything. Who would have thought sitting on screens for hours on end, rotting your brain, and using AI for absolutely everything wasn't the best idea? And those same kids are currently graduating, if you could even call it that, and going out into the real world now. It honestly does not look good. We have a ton of stuff to go over today, along with comments from you guys from previous videos, so if you want to be featured on a future video, leave it in the comments down below, but let's just jump right into it.
The kids are like, I knew that the pandemic and ChatGPT was making us dumber. I didn't realize it was this bad. The University of California, San Diego just released a study on the math level of their incoming freshmen, and it is horrible. 1 out of every 8 kids needs to take a remedial math course. In 2020, like 5 years ago, it was 1 out of every 100. It 10x'd in 5 years. And when they say remedial math, they really mean remedial math. 1 out of every 10 kids couldn't do 66 plus 44. 25% of kids got 7 plus 2 equals blank plus 6 wrong. That's 25% of kids not being able to answer a first grade math question. 61% of kids couldn't round a number to the nearest 100. Holy. And keep in mind, this isn't high school or community college. This is UCSD, one of the best schools in the country. This school has a 24% acceptance rate. And before you make fun of UCSD, no, this is happening across the board at all colleges.
What do you mean 9% couldn't do 66 plus 44? A teacher here, if you're anywhere near the education field, we've known this for a while now. And schools are trying students cheat at basic skills. That's why they can't do anything. It's been rampant, uncontrollable cheating, and the parents reinforce it. And we're going to be seeing more examples of that a little bit later in the video, but we could take a look at one of the clips that's been going viral online of someone just going up to students and asking them to read what's on the card.
Read the index card for me.
She wore a suit, clothes that were... Who's this for? Extraordinary, but somewhat Gertrude?
Now explain what that means.
I don't know.
She wore a sahalat of clothes that were extraordinary, whatever, bro, but somewhat gooch.
What does that mean?
She wore a lot. Wait, she wore. Bro, I don't know, bro. Can you take the card back, please?
Okay, so I'm cutting it off there. We got more examples. I mean, this guy's got an entire series. But if you couldn't see, the words that they were stuck on were silhouette, extraordinary, and the word gauche. Now, at least for that one, I don't hear too many people saying gauche in everyday conversation, but not knowing silhouette or extraordinary, it's honestly really concerning. If you go over to the comments, somebody just says, we're cooked. Everybody else saying this is just sad, sad, this is sad. And we can move on to the next one that's basically a response to that video.
You should feel ashamed to be stupid. You should feel embarrassed to be stupid. And before anybody's like, Tara, that's ableist. No, it's not. No. Tara, what about people with learning disabilities? I'm not talking about those people. I'm not. Nobody with a learning disability should ever be or feel ashamed for not understanding how to do something, read something, say something. I'm not talking about those people. And you would know that I'm not talking about those people if you weren't stupid. Just like if I was to say, if you're 30 years old and can't tie your shoes, you should feel ashamed. Tara, my cousin was born with only 3 fingers on his hand and he can't tie his shoes. Are you saying he should feel stupid? No, I'm not talking about your cousin. But if you're an able-bodied person with 2 hands and you're 28 or 30, what did I say? You should be able to tie your shoes. If you're a high schooler, you should be able to read the word silhouette if it's in front of you. You should be able to read the word extraordinary if it's in front of you. You should be able to read the word gauche. People are like, well, I give them credit on gauche. Gauche is, no, I don't give you credit. You should have heard or seen the word gauche.
And I think part of the problem is the first half of the video. A lot of people like to call it the bean soup theory on TikTok, but now you have to be so careful with every little thing that you say. You don't want to offend anybody, that now we've gotten to a point where you can't shame anybody for legitimately not being able to read. Going over to the comments, another very good point, learning has actually never been easier. If you use your phone or laptop computer correctly, instead of sitting doom scrolling and watching brain rot content, you could learn legitimately anything you want in a few clicks. Another comment here. I know a teacher that uses ChatGPT for her lesson plans. Tara, what if I don't like beans? Again, talking about the bean soup theory. The next one as well. What if I have a red car? That's how much of a problem it's become now. We got a comment from you guys right here. No Kids Left Behind has really created problems. There is so much pressure to pass kids because of the funding. And that's a very good transition into the next clip.
I had a sixth grader who did not do a project, no part of the project at all. It was the end of the year and there was a 0 because
did not do anything.
The report cards came out and the parents were very upset that this child had a B in English. I said, I'm sorry, like he didn't do the project. This was the first time I ever stood my ground on anything. My principal got an email from them. They also emailed the superintendent and they forced me to give this kid an A.
Same thing happens in high schools. High school diplomas don't hold any value anymore. This just teaches the students that they don't need to put in work.
Why don't kids care about school? Dude, 20 years ago, if we failed, we would get left behind. And all of our friends would go to the class ahead of us. Today, if these kids fail, nothing happens. They all just continue. So, of course, if you know that it doesn't matter if you fail, then of course you don't give a shit. That's why.
No Child Left Behind was so bad for the education system, and summer school was mandatory, not optional like it is now. Another example here, similar to the last clip, teacher here. Let me tell you, we want to be able to hold them back, but it's out of our hands. So these are the type of kids getting into college but can't do basic math.
Kids graduate high school without ever having read a single book all the time. And often these students have all A's and B's when they graduate. People find this very baffling, but I'm going to tell you exactly how it happens. Let's start all the way back in kindergarten. K through 2 is when you're supposed to learn how to read. And I don't mean learn how to comprehend a text. I mean learn how to actually break down words, sound them out, and this should be happening through phonics instruction. The issue is that phonics instruction was out of vogue for a while, even though it's the most important factor in a student's reading comprehension. So if a student was in kindergarten in the early mid-2000s, there's a good chance that their teacher wasn't really giving them any phonics instruction that they needed, and instead they were just learning how to make guesses about, the next word in a text. This does not work. It has been proven over and over again to be ineffective. Let's say a student now moves on to 3rd grade. In 3rd grade, there's a shift. K through 2 are supposed to be learning to read, and 3 through 12 are supposed to be reading to learn. So each year, 3 through 12, kids are getting increasingly complex texts, but they're not really receiving instruction on how to read.
And again, they're not failing these classes, so each year it just gets worse and worse. Why would you not teach phonics when the whole point of the alphabet is to have each letter make a sound and produce words? I did this, she's 100% right. I learned how to read by memorizing what words look like, not by sounding them out. One of my 12th graders just read his first full book in my class this year, and maybe one sort of positive to come out of this: if your career is in speech therapy, it seems like you have a job for the rest of your life.
I'm a speech therapist, and I'm going to say something that sounds so terrible. If you want to guarantee my job security, give your young child unlimited access to an iPad. There could be 10 of me, and it still wouldn't be enough. And I'm not saying that because I want that. I'm saying that because of what I'm seeing in the classrooms right now. I'm working with kids whose threshold for stimulation is so high that nothing in real life competes. Books don't compete. Toys don't compete. People especially don't compete. An actual back and forth communication and engagement takes effort, but a screen doesn't, so kids are not getting as many reps of that interaction that leads to communication. And then we're supposed to be coming in to fix it later, and I will absolutely do that work, but it is so much harder to do it on this side of the equation.
I'm so sick of hearing kids saying that they're bored in the middle of a very interactive activity. If they have more than 60 seconds of downtime, they're bored. As an ABA therapist, it's so hard to compete with these tablets, and we're the bad guys coming in, turning off the TV and the iPad, and parents do not get it. We got another comment from you guys right here. After I left the Army, I got my teaching certificate and taught for 7 years. I thought I'd be teaching kids how to learn to read and do math and science. What I ended up teaching was how to behave in public. And we could even go farther back when they're just getting into school. Some of these kids aren't even potty trained.
Pasco County Schools says that so many of their students are showing up to school not potty trained that it's now impacting the learning.
It is not the kindergartner's teacher's responsibility to be changing diapers for kindergartners.
That's John Legg. He's the superintendent here, and he says since the COVID-19 pandemic, they've seen an extreme uptick in students being unable to independently use the bathroom at the kindergarten level. In fact, he estimates at least 10 students in each of their 52 elementary schools aren't potty trained.
What are parents even doing at this point? 5 and 6 year olds aren't potty trained. I potty train both of mine between 2 and 3. So if they're this far behind as soon as they start, what is it going to look like when they're graduating high school? But we have a follow-up to a clip we've seen in an older video of this woman up on screen who basically just talked about how dumb college students are. She was going back to school to get her degree. She's a bit older than everybody else, and she was baffled by her fellow classmates.
A girl on here just made a video about how she's maybe late 20s and we just went back to college, and how college students are idiots. I'm 28. It's my last semester. And yes, they're idiots. Bro, the group chat filled with questions multiple times a day at the beginning of the semester. Questions about things that are in the syllabus. Like, when are homeworks due? Read the syllabus. What's the professor's email? Read the syllabus. They don't read. They don't care. It's crazy. And maybe this is why the bachelor degree is useless now, because they're giving it out to anybody.
I was kicked out of a group chat because one of the students asked what they were supposed to do when they didn't have Microsoft Teams. I responded, "You can't be serious. Download it like everyone else did." Apparently, that was too mean. I'm so glad I got through college before ChatGPT. Me, almost 33, fighting for my life on these discussion boards and having to literally dumb down my assignments so I don't get accused of AI. Oh man. I take community college classes for fun twice a year. In the past 3 years, the classroom has changed exponentially. I feel like I'm back in middle school and we were taking a physics class. How do you think we professors feel? The insane emails I get, I just want to screenshot the answer in the syllabus. One person asked me how to access the readings, like click on the link. I'm 43 and graduating in May. I've gotten flagged for AI in every class, and every time I had to defend myself about how my writing is experienced and not dumbing anything down. This brings in another problem that we've talked about on my main channel, how more and more college degrees are basically useless now in the workforce. But if it's really this easy to get one, I kind of understand that now.
The following are actual phrases stated by college students explaining why they fail their classes, and they truly believe that these are legitimate reasons. I didn't know that there were online quizzes that I had to do. I forgot about an exam one day and didn't show up, and the professor didn't let me redo it. Professor never posted a study guide, so I didn't know what to study, so it's not my fault. I didn't feel like going to class on Fridays, and the professor wouldn't post a lecture online, so what was I supposed to do? I forgot about some assignments, and the professor wouldn't let me redo them, and wouldn't let me submit them late. My advisor told me to take a class that I didn't need to take, and so I just stopped going to class because what was the point? It's not like you have 2 months to withdraw from the course or anything.
I hope colleges don't begin to lower their standards like public school teachers are forced to. I don't know, it seems like a possibility to me because at the end of the day, these colleges are still a business. Why do you think tuition keeps going up every single year? And if these kids are legitimately too dumb to get in, they won't make as much money as they can. We got another comment from you guys here. Bad parenting is creating some very big problems for our future.
So this year I had an 18-year-old freshman who either slept the entire class or just did not show up and skipped. People always act really shocked when I say I have 17 and 18-year-old ninth graders, but it's not that shocking to me anymore. I get like 3 of them a year. And I couldn't get in touch with his mom to save my life. I probably called at least 5 separate times and she never answered the phone. Eventually, I did get in contact with his grandmother and with his aunt. And both of them were very dismissive of the entire situation. They were like, well, he wears glasses, so he probably is just going to sleep and not paying attention because he can't see the work. It's on his Chromebook right in front of him. He doesn't, it's not like he has to look at the board the entire time. And also, the problem isn't that he's getting bad grades, it's that he's sleeping or he's just not coming to class. That has nothing to do with glasses. But at that point, I was like, all right, I see why he's 18 and still in the ninth grade.
An 18-year-old freshman, 18 in ninth grade, just have him fill out a job application at this point. But who would really want to hire that person? I don't think they'd be the best worker. It's insane to me how many different examples of this are online.
Look, so maybe it's because I'm not on the right side of TikTok, but I haven't seen a lot of people talking about what it's really like working with kids nowadays. So let's just jump straight into it. First things first, what I realize most about these kids nowadays, especially the 7-8-year-old range, which is what I work with, is that their attention attention span is cooked. And one of the biggest things is behavior, man, because let me tell you, these kids are ruthless. And I can just straight up tell, and I know a lot of you guys agree, that a lot comes back down to the parenting. You know, a lot of these kids haven't had proper parenting, because that'll take you a long way, man. Some of these kids that are like have the best behavior, I see that their parents are like really on it. You know, they're not playing games, not messing around. And of course, a lot of the ones that have behavioral problems, like they're the ones who parents are kind of just like dismissal about it. I'm not here to judge nobody, but I'm saying what a lot of teachers are saying and feeling as well too, you know, because it's almost like we have to be the parent. And that's just not what it's supposed to be. You know, you're there to teach and help these kids, you know, not parent them.
They have no manners. It's up to us to teach them manners now. I teach kindergarten and almost none of them say please, thank you, or excuse me. As an elementary school counselor, the behavior is so on point, I'm exhausted. And another comment just saying bring back textbooks and handwritten work. Because funny enough, with most of these things being on screens, either laptops, iPads, whatever, it also looks like there's a good amount of kids who don't know how to type. Me as a millennial who had to take typing classes growing up, watching my Gen Z sister type, and she's only using her index fingers. I don't know, in today's world, I feel like with or without typing classes, I feel like you just learn how to type. Maybe it's not perfect, but it's definitely more than just using 2 fingers. Elder Gen Z, we also took typing classes, I did as well. Why the heck would they stop teaching typing? It's important now than ever, because that's the argument as well for many people not knowing how to write cursive anymore. It's not really used anymore other than your signature. But we're in the age of computers and keyboards. How do you not know how to type? I could still feel those orange covers on the keyboard, and it's painful watching them.
I don't think y'all understand that I have high school students who do not know how to spell their own name. Students who are in high school who are misspelling their own name repeatedly. I had a student this year who struggled really badly with reading comprehension and spelling. And when I say really badly, as in like cannot spell 3-letter words, like it was that bad. And so sometimes she would forget to put her names on papers, which that's fine. I'll just write your name for you. And for some reason, I kept misspelling her name. And if you notice, I have 2 E's in my name. So I thought that I was adding 2 E's onto her name, just like out of ego. Like, oh my God, why am I trying to put my 2 E's on her name? Her name does not have 2 E's, because when I would go check online, there was only 1 E. So now it is the end of the year and I was cleaning up my classroom a bit. And so as I was throwing away some papers, I picked up a paper that she wrote her name on. And I noticed that the name also had 2 E's on it. And I was like, well, hold on, because her name does not have 2 E's. I pick up a second paper, also has 2 E's on it. And I go back to my computer, type in her name, there is 1 E. And I had the horrifying realization that she's spelling her own name wrong. And not just once, multiple times, like continuously.
I remember when being genuinely stupid was something to get bullied for, and now you can't make fun of anybody for absolutely anything, and why aren't we holding these children back? So I think that's all I could take for today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.